Hi guys, welcome to the first episode of Comic-Geddon Origins, the show where we take a closer look at several B, C, and D-list heroes and villains across the comic book multiverse. For this episode, we're going to be diving into the history of the Supermen of America and the origins of its one-time leader, Outburst. Mitch Anderson first appeared in comics during the Death of Superman event in 1992 and 1993, created by Dan Jurgens to fill a specific role needed for the narrative of the story and its follow-up Funeral for a Friend the morning after. Mitch's first scene in the comics comes as he's returning home from school on his skateboard as the Justice League battle the monster Doomsday several miles away. In the corresponding scene, it's mentioned that Mitch comes from a broken home, as his father left the family a few weeks earlier. It's worth mentioning that at this time, Mitch blames his mother for his father leaving, believing her to be extremely corny and lazy. In the book, Mitch is portrayed as a very rude and self-centered teenager who thinks Superman is nothing more than a super weasel, as he calls him, and lame, while his mother is caring for his ill baby sister. It's during this scene where Mitch becomes furious with his mom for not having any soda in the house for him, and lets fly that he blames her for his dad leaving just before walking out the door to go to a friend's house. Just as he opens the door to leave, the Justice League hero Ice crashes through their kitchen window, sending glass flying toward Mitch's mom and little sister, and landing on their counter. Just outside, it's revealed that Doomsday is there, with the family's car held in one hand and his other hand locked behind his back. Just then, Superman and Booster Gold show up to stop the monster as Mitch stands on in the background mocking Superman for being too slow and stupid to duck from the monster's punch. Immediately thereafter, Doomsday sends the Big Blue Boy Scout crashing through the family's home with a spinning back kick to the gut. Superman is sent flying through the walls of the home, forcing Mitch to duck out of the way as Superman goes right over him. As he reaches the other side of the house, the walls begin to collapse in on themselves and the people inside. Just as Doomsday is about to attack Mitch's mother and baby sister, Superman forces the monster away from them. It's at this moment that it's glimpsed at Mitch's future as a hero and why he became a hero in the first place, as he takes his sister out of the destroyed house into safety with the Justice League at war around him, and his mother pulling the hero Ice to safety on her own. As the Justice League members are down around them, with Superman facing Doomsday alone, a fire reaches the gas line of the family's destroyed home. An explosion traps Mitch and his baby sister with their unconscious mother inside the ruins. Mitch screams and screams for Superman to come back and help them, but Doomsday won't let him. It's then that Bloodwind, who was actually Martian Manhunter at the time, protects the family from the wreckage long enough for Superman to get them out. Mitch then disappears from the story until showing up later as a runaway during the Funeral for a Friend the morning after a crossover event. In it, he makes his way to Superman's tomb in Metropolis, where he talks with Jimmy Olsen and Bibbo, blaming himself for Superman's death at the hands of Doomsday. Basically here, he's searching for someone to apologize for, because he felt that if Superman hadn't been busy worrying about saving Mitch's family, he could have put more of his focus into battling the monster. During the morning after storyline, in Superman number 76, we see the Justice League at this time being led by Wonder Woman, answering letters mailed to Superman, trying to do good in his name. The Flash and a few other heroes go to Mitch's home to rebuild it while he's gone, and Wonder Woman locates Mitch's dad and explains to him what happened to his family, and convinces him to rejoin them. We next see Mitch in 1999 during the Superman number 141, wherein Mitch makes his first appearance as the hero Outburst. Discovering his magnokinetic powers just weeks earlier on his 16th birthday, in the issue, a group of thugs are discovered breaking into a Star Labs building, and we get our first taste of what Outburst can do in action. In the scene, he's very reminiscent of Marvel Comics' Spider-Man, as he's seen standing upside down on the ceiling and using his magnokinetic powers to slide across the metal in the walls, showing great agility and making wisecracks at the thugs' expense. Unexpectedly, one of the thugs catches Outburst off guard and manages to hit him over the head, with the handle of his gun, knocking him down. But just before the thugs can do anything more to Outburst, Superman shows up and uses his heat vision to disable their guns. As the thugs begin to focus their attack on Superman, Outburst takes the time to act as an unofficial sidekick for the Man of Steel by subduing a few of the masked men and geeking out over Superman, stating, "Wow, Superman, you're my idol. I even have a poster of you in my bedroom." Not that there's anything wrong with that. After introducing himself to Superman, Outburst hears a noise and asks Superman, "You don't have a case of indigestion, do you?" Before Superman can ask Outburst any questions regarding what he was doing there, Superman is struck with a missile, with Outburst calling out, "Oh man, you okay, Soups? Soups? I swear your insurance premiums must be high." As Outburst begins searching the debris piles for Superman, he comments offhand, "My chances of joining the super secret society of super secret superheroes is zip if you get stomped in a deal involving me." Superman reassures him that his concern is appreciated but unnecessary, and that he wants to have a chat with Outburst when he gets back, and orders him to stay put while he searches for the thugs. Before he can locate them, he notices an explosion of toxic gas inside the lab, forcing him to use his momentum to create a tornado, to carry the gas cloud to space. Noticing the trouble that Superman is having, Outburst quickly uses his powers to float the massive pipeline into place, so Superman can use it to focus the gas cloud where he needs to go. As Superman deals with the gas, Outburst makes his escape, and it's here that we learn he's actually Mitch Anderson, who was introduced back in Superman number 74, and that Lex Luthor was responsible for the theft at Star Labs. In the pages of Superman number 142 from February of 1999, Superman begins to feel the pressure of leading a double life as Clark Kent and Superman, and decides to become Superman 24/7, 365. In the first few pages of the issue, the media and other heroes become concerned with Superman's new proactive nature, as Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, Elongated Man, and Captain Atom all feel he's become obsessed. We then see Mitch and his mom and sister have moved into an apartment in Metropolis, because shortly after the family came back together, Mitch's dad passed away from lung cancer. It's also revealed in the issue that if Mitch doesn't release built-up magnetic energy inside him, he begins to receive shooting pains which feel like cramps, with his body acting as a living magnet pulling at anything metal. It's also revealed that he hides his Outburst costume in an old elevator shaft that only he can get to because of his magnetic powers. So essentially here, Outburst is kind of a crossover between Spider-Man and Magneto is the best way to put it. And he's just now realizing his powers, so he doesn't really have the full control of them as, Magneto or Polaris would. But still, he proves himself to be a force to be reckoned with. As Outburst is magnetically surfing through the city, Lex Luthor with Cat Grant are inside a helicopter as it begins to malfunction, causing the pilot to lose control and sending the chopper plummeting to the ground. Seeing this and being in the right place at the right time, Outburst sends his magnetic power up a nearby building, slowing the chopper's fall, catching Lex's attention even though Superman catches the chopper, but only because Outburst slowed its fall. In Supermen of America number 1 from March of 1999, Mitch reveals that he doesn't really feel like a hero because he's just been in the wrong place at the right time. And somebody else paid for it twice. It's at a concert event, Cause for Pause, headlined by musician Junior KD, that Mitch is once again in the wrong place at the right time, but is unable to stop Junior KD from being shot by an enraged fan. During the assassination, the scaffolding falls around the stage and Mitch is forced to use his powers to save the bystanders. Afterwards, Mitch is walking his friend Nona, who later becomes his girlfriend, home when he tries to cheer her up while at the same time making verbal advances toward her. When her ex-boyfriend and his gang begin harassing them. As Nona turns to walk away, Mitch magnetizes the metal fence to wrap around their arms and hold them in place like handcuffs. Later in the library, Mitch reads an article online where Lex Luthor mentions Outburst personally, and so Outburst goes to meet with Luthor. It's at the meeting that Lex reveals he wants to work with Outburst, using the death of Junior KD as a rallying cry. Luthor and Outburst call for the youth of Metropolis to join the Young Supermen of America. Shortly thereafter, Luthor makes Outburst the leader of the new team of metahumans called the Supermen of America, which was made up of Mitch's girlfriend Nona, who goes by the codename White Lotus, who is an expert in martial arts and a mystical aura that enhances her abilities. Kal Usjak, a.k.a. Brahma, who has immeasurable strength and invulnerability. Theo Storm, a.k.a. The Loser, who has an innate dermal force field. Claudio Tielli, a.k.a. Pyrogen, whose name speaks for itself. Basically, he can control and manipulate fire. Tim Thomas, whom Mitch met earlier in the issue at the library while he was reading up on Lex Luthor's comments, goes by the codename Silencer, with the power of tactical intuition. Later, Maxwell Williams, a.k.a. Maximum, created by Fabian Nicieza and Doug Braithwaite, would join the team with the power to maximize his body's energy, increasing his strength, speed, reflexes, and senses to superhuman levels, but only one ability at a time. Eventually, Maximum would obtain the powers of a god and decides to transform Metropolis into a paradise, forcing the team to fight him. But it's his parents who convince him to give up his power. The Supermen of America become a much larger organization than just the 7 metahumans that make up the main roster. It becomes a youth group for teenagers to make a difference in their community, as a Blue Beret junior police force, as it were. During this time, as leader of the organization and young team, Mitch has severe doubts about leading the team, believing the others won't listen to him. But Luthor talks him down and even gives him a pay bonus for leading the team. But he eventually returns the check to Luthor, feeling undeserving of it. At the end of the first issue, while Mitch is having his doubts about not only leading the team, but being a hero, period, Superman meets with him unexpectedly and tells Outburst he's proud of him and that he and his team did a good job that day, even with everything that happened. Eventually, Outburst and the others accept his role as leader, and they become a cohesive unit working off each other rather than getting in each other's way. Luthor eventually distances himself from the organization, leaving them the funds and youth centers to continue their work. The current status of the team is unknown, especially since the Flashpoint and New 52 have taken place. Several members of the team have been shown during 2006's Infinite Crisis, in the pages of the OMAC Project, where they battle multiple OMACs. In the following issue of Superman, the Man of Steel mentioned he went to check on the team, but nothing more is revealed. The last we see of the team, White Lotus and Loser are the only two still up and fighting, while Outburst and Brahma are shown to be unconscious. Their fate is yet unknown. Later in the Superman Grounded storyline, the final issue shows Superman assembling a new team of Supermen of America, made up of Superman himself, Superboy, Supergirl, Steel, Livewire, who's now on the side of good and sporting an altered version of Superman's blue electric costume, which she turned the S in the symbol into an L. Iron Monroe and Super Chief Saganauhana. Both fictional teams got their name from the 1940s Superman fan club named Supermen of America. If you'd like to learn more about Outburst and the Supermen of America, there's a number of comics you can read. Those issues have been shown here in this video, but to list them off, you have Justice League of America number 69, Volume 1. Young Justice, Sins of Youth, Volume 1, Number 1. Superman, Volume 2, 76. Superman, Secret Files and Origins, Volume 1, Number 2. Young Justice, Volume 1, Number 50. Superman, King of the World, Volume 1, Number 1. Superman, Volume 2, 144. Superman, Volume 2, 142. Superman Volume 2, 141. Action Comics Volume 1, number 754. Action Comics Volume 1, number 753. Young Justice Volume 1, number 51. Young Justice Volume 1, number 49. Superman Man of Steel Volume 1, number 87. Adventures of Superman Volume 1, number 567. Supermen of America, Volume 1, Number 1. Supermen of America, Volume 2, Numbers 1 through 6. Superman, Man of Tomorrow, Volume 1, Number 13. Superman Man of Steel Volume 1, number 89. Superman Man of Steel number 86. And several others along that line. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Again, this was my first attempt at a narrated video. So hopefully these will get better in the future. Until then, stay tuned to Comic-Geddon.